So here I have a USN Mark I training bayonet, or the United States Navy Mark I training bayonet. Like most training bayonets, they were not fixed to an actual rifle. Rather, there was a facsimile of a Springfield 1903. It was it was a training rifle designed by Parris-Dunn, and I'm going to do a separate video on Parris-Dunn training rifles, actually. But Parris-Dunn made these training rifles, and they needed some bayonets to go along with them. So they had two different companies make them. One was the Beckwith Manufacturing Company, and the other was the Prophylactic Brush Company. If we take a look here at the markings, you will see this particular example is marked PB which obviously stands for the Prophylactic Brush Company. And WorldBayonets.com says that they were a company that made toothbrushes in peacetime. So you can also see those marked BM Co., which is Beckwith Manufacturing Company. The bayonet itself is almost completely made of a black Bakelite plastic. It also has a triple layer like sheet metal construction in there. And it appears that, that's just a reinforced body. It probably goes up to maybe about here or somewhere around here. And then I'm kind of just assuming that I think it turns into completely Bakelite plastic from there because it bends fairly easily. These things are extremely fragile. You can find these in various states of disrepair. I've seen some of them where the blade's broken. Most of them are going to have the muzzle ring missing, and some of them are going to have damage to the grips there because it's all Bakelite plastic, and when they were training with these, they would break fairly easily, especially if you were like sparring with them. So you'd have your rifle locked in here, and you can see how the muzzle ring could break because it's just plastic. So needless to say, I think they made these from about 1942 to 1943 sometime, and then they kind of discontinued them. Let's take a look at the markings again. As I said before, this one's marked PB Co. And all the ones that are made by the Prophylactic Brush Company are going to have the same serial number below it, that NXSO. The ones made by the Beckwith Manufacturing Company are going to say NORD, N-O-R-D, with a number, much like that one. And both models are going to have USN Mark I on the left ricasso. You can see that this thing is actually just a reverse-engineered model 1905, right down to the false edge on the top there, and also down to the locking system that's in here. In between the crossguard, you can see those spaces, and when you press this button, not only does it release the lock, but there is a rocking arm or rocker arm inside there, just like in a 1905 or just like in M1. So they're pretty well made in that regard. Now these things are fairly uncommon. They pop up on eBay a decent amount of times. I think there was only about 300,000 of these manufactured. And most of this information is according to worldbayonets.com and, again, various books that I have. But you can't find a whole lot of information on these training bayonets, really. So, one more thing before we go. These were issued with the M3 scabbard. So that's the long scabbard, most likely kinds that you'll see on M1 bayonets. However, the only difference between the M3 scabbard that was issued with the training bayonet and the M3 scabbard that was issued with the 1905 is that at the throat it will of course say USN Mk. So that's another thing to look for there. Myself, I'm gonna pick up one of those shortly, hopefully. And again, this is a very, very clean example. There is no rust on the metal parts, which you will see that's fairly common on the Ricasso and these metal parts up here, and there's no damage to it. There's actually no scratches from removing it in and out of a scabbard. Didn't come with a scabbard, but I picked this up on eBay for a fair price. You're gonna see that these things will go for about $100 for just the bayonet, and maybe $100 more for the M3 scabbard that was issued with it. So together, if it's in great condition, I would say probably about $250. This is kind of the market rate right now. I've seen a few of them sell on eBay for that price, so wait it out. And if you're looking for one, you can find one for a decent price. Thanks for watching, guys. As I said before, I'll have some more training bayonet videos up soon, hopefully.